Oh, my broken nail.
Hey, what is up? What is up?
Not much, you know. It's been a week. It's been
Do
a
you
week.
wanna listen? Cause yeah.
You
Do
felt
you
that?
wanna
You felt that too?
tell us about your week?
My week took a whole turn, like a very unexpected turn.
Yeah.
So Johnny got hurt at work. Like he got shot by a nail gun in the back. It punctured his lung.
Oh my
So yeah,
God.
yeah, like he was that happened on Monday. Like that was the week right there. So he had to stay in the hospital for like 3 days. I think they let him out around like Thursday, or Wednesday actually. And then I stayed with him for the next 2 days because the nurse was like, he's gonna need like care for the next 2 days. Like he can't do nothing. So that's pretty much where I spent my whole week. Saturday, Sunday, I went back to kind of like real
Uh,
life. I was just like working, doing stuff like that. And yeah, that was my whole week. And it's what it's put into perspective is how much your lungs, your breath has to do with so much. Like you really don't think the breath correlates with so much, but yo, seeing someone go from like
mm,
pretty mobile to someone like not even able to walk their dog or outside in the cold is
mm,
crazy. So,
mm.
yeah,
Damn, that I'm so sorry to him. You're gonna have to send him my best wishes. That
oh, I
sucks,
know.
bro. That
It
you have to
does.
send him my
Yeah.
wishes. I'm sorry to you too. Like that's a lot. That's a lot to handle because you care about the person and also like it teaches a lot about like communal care, how like when you're in community with people, actual real communal care throws off your whole life. Like it can throw off
Oh, yeah.
your whole schedule in a second. Because as soon as they
Hmm.
need you, the part that like the main part of being in community is that you're able to come to their need if you can. And it's just like, damn, like it just shows like communal care is beautiful. Being in community and relationship and partnership, etc., is beautiful. But it's moments like this where you're like, oh yeah, it can also be a lot to take on. And also
Yeah.
like it could be a blessing because like imagine him having to do this alone or imagine him having to do it with someone else. You know what I mean? Like, damn.
Yes.
Damn, I really feel for
Yeah.
you.
I appreciate that. But you described it perfectly because it's like a bittersweet. It was like, okay, a little vacation was given, life got cut out. It was just
Mm,
focused on like a loved one, but it was also like, wow, like this is I can imagine what he's going through and that's it. Just imagine. Like I cannot feel it. I can, like I can just be there to
yeah.
support him, but it's also just like, wow, like things can just always change. It just puts a sense of gratitude. Like that's how I feel. I'm just like
Mm,
grateful that I'm capable of being there to help him. I'm here and I'm just like every moment, just every little moment after that was just like, okay, like a little sweetness. But yeah,
yeah. How do you feel like I don't know, you're taking care of yourself also? How do you feel like you're also being able or do you feel like that's just not I guess that's kind of my question. Do you feel like when something like this happens with your community or with your loved one, is there really space to take care of yourself in that moment, or are you kind of putting yourself on the back burner until you can again? Like, because I know that people talk about how like or how balance is a myth, how there's no real
hmm,
balance. Like you got to give and take. You got to be able to like
yeah.
always do some version of 60/40, whatever. So like do you feel like you were able to care for yourself while caring for him, or do you feel like you kind of had to put yourself on the back burner and now you can care for yourself again?
I think it's a mix of both. I don't think the care part was the fact that
Mm-hmm.
the floor he was on didn't allow me to stay overnight, so I had to go home. So every
Mm-hmm.
night I was like sleeping in my bed. So that I think was self-care. Was I really sleeping?
Yeah.
Not really. I think this week really highlighted how much I still use weed as a crutch and as like a little band-aid throughout
Mm-hmm.
everything. Because that's, I think, the only way I was really self-caring. Now, yesterday was my first day of being home and like, kind of getting myself set for what I intend to be a week of like fully back on.
Yeah.
So that to me felt like self-care. I kind of set the tone. I did everything. Today also did. I woke up for myself, even though I think I'm still here, like anxiously, like wanting to know how he's feeling. He had an appointment today. Things don't sound like it's going in a direction that I thought it was going in. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, why am I throwing like little?
A little celebratory. What the hell?
You've seen that, right? I was
Yo,
like, this is
yes,
not
I
no
did.
celebrating matter. I was like, excuse me, this really switched real quick. I was like, I'm glad he's alive, yes, but this is serious matters.
Yeah, that is. Apple need to get their shit together. Like, please, read the room.
I don't
Read
know
the
what
room.
Surrey heard or what she understood, but we did not ask for that. We did not ask for that.
Oh, no, Queen.
But yeah, now I lost my train of thought, but I think that sums up like where I'm at.
You said that you thought it was going in a different direction, and it sounds like it's not. That's
Yeah,
yeah,
no. Yeah.
yeah. Damn, that's intense. That's intense. Well, let me know however you need me to show up for you, for real. Like,
I appreciate
you
you.
also have
Yeah,
community. You also have people you can lean on. So
I
remember
appreciate
that.
that.
Now it's so interesting because like moments like this make everything else in life feel kind of trivial. So I'm like sitting here thinking about like, oh, what could I share for my week? And I'm like, it kind of doesn't even feel right. Like it doesn't. And I get it. Like life is a balance of like the miracles and the big and the every, and then the mundane and
Yeah.
the simple. And that's kind of like what makes life what it is. So like, in moments where life can be so big and feel so intense, I think the moments of like simplicity are really important, like to ground yourself, like the moments that are just mundane and are like human as fuck and just, regular as fuck is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
But it also just feels so silly to follow that with like, yeah, so yesterday I watched Vampire Diaries and, like, it's like, girl, what? But I will say, like, the whole using weed as a crutch thing as a form of self care. I have been smoking again, and you've known for forever that I go through like ebbs and flows of being in a stoner phase. That's what I'll call it. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm in my stoner bag right now. And so I'm in my stoner bag currently, and it's actually
Mm-hmm.
thanks to my former partner who had me on that shit like heavy because he also used weed as a crutch. But I'm so because I witnessed him use weed as a crutch and try to not do that. Like I saw him
Mm.
actively kind of fight against that urge. I'm actually very scared of the psychological dependency on weed. And I actually learned in my psych classes that while weed doesn't isn't addictive in the sense that you have a physical dependence on it, you do and can build a psychological dependence on it. So it's addictive in that way. And I think people don't talk about it because it doesn't look as scary as like I don't mean to play into stereotypes, but of the crackhead on the corner or what have you.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like your whole life can go into shambles. But it still is a dependency. So it is robbing from you a little bit. It is taking from you a little bit. So people don't talk about the dependency, but I'm afraid. I'm genuinely afraid of having a psychological dependency on weed. So like whenever I'm feeling off, like if I feel anxious or if I'm just not having a good day, I try not to
Mm-hmm.
smoke that day. Actually, I don't smoke that day because I'm like I don't want my brain to be like, oh, I feel better when I do this. And then I'll need that thing.
I
So I
see.
tried to
Okay.
like, you know what I mean? Because I'm actually afraid, like, I'm actually scared to need this thing.
First off, kudos to you for being able to say, pause, I'm not smoking today when I'm in a state of like this mood or feeling because that's my drive. Like that's what I'm like, I need that. I need to feel better. And like, so kudos to you for that. But I think the fear's real because I listened to a podcast recently and it was talking a lot about the weed now, like edibles, all of the above at
Mm,
dispensaries, how it is 10 times more like I don't want to say potent, but I guess like that's what the podcast was
yeah.
saying, how potent it is, how everything is just 10 times
Yeah.
more intense. And that I guess it led people, at least this was the study that people are conducting, that it's leading people down a path of being more dependent. So I think they're still
Mm,
trying now really to prove that case that it may not be addictive how we think addiction looks, but like you're saying, it is
yeah.
very much a psychological addiction.
Yeah. I
I,
was also listening. Yeah.
no, go ahead.
No, I was listening to the harms of some of the other forms of ingesting weed that we have nowadays, like carts, for example.
Oh
How
yeah.
carts are leading people to have more greening out than smoking weed, and how it could up your tolerance, and how they put a lot of shit in there that you really shouldn't be smoking, stuff like that. So I think there are a lot of studies that have yet to be done that we need, especially if we're going to legalize marijuana. And I think we should. Don't get it twisted. I absolutely am pro legalizing marijuana. Like, and let everyone out that's on marijuana charges. Don't piss me off. Yeah, hold on. And let me just take a me to put a little caveat here because as we continue to grow our platform and grow our community, I need it to be known I am an abolitionist. We do not fuck with Trump on these parts. Thank you very much. I am like one step away from socialism, okay? Because I don't even like our government. I'm one step away from looking into like socialism for real. Because I look at both of our parties and I don't feel inspired. I'm
Same.
terrified of one and a little bit less terrified of the other, and that's not how I want to live my life. So I do want you guys to know what it is over here because yeah, just as a caveat.
A little TV bit of
All right,
information. Fun
you
facts.
know, like I am pro choice. I'm all of the very progression, Anyways, but yeah. Anyways, I am pro legalizing marijuana, but I do think the more that we do that, we need to have better studies on it. People need to know. I think part of having freedom of choice is knowing all of that comes with that choice. So yeah, I am a little bit afraid of the dependency, but I do love being in my little stoner phase. It's cute, and after like a good day, like it's nice. It's nice to just end it with a little ooh. And another way that I kind of like combat that dependency, well, two other ways.
Hmm.
One, I roll with papers. I don't do Frontos because Frontos has traces of tobacco in it, and I actually think that people become addicted to smoking weed because of the traces of tobacco.
Yeah.
So I think they're like, oh, it's the weed, but I'm like, it might actually be what you're rolling with, babe. But and then also like I smoke until I feel a buzz. So I don't smoke to get stuck or to get super high. I
Mm.
actually hate getting stuck is actually my least favorite feeling. And I think it makes me more anxious. So as soon as I start to feel a little, I stop. I'm good. I'm done. And then typically when we walk away and we continue the rest of the evening, like I'll feel myself get more high. So I know that I should have stopped when I did because I would have gotten too high if I continued. So those are my ways to kind of combat my like growing a dependency on it.
I appreciate that because now that I got my partner going through what he's going through, he cannot smoke, obviously. So I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm done. I was like, I've been feeling recently more of like, I don't want to do this anymore. I hate that it feels like
Mm.
I have to end my night with that. And it's
Yeah.
just like, no, I'm coming to a point where I'm like, I no longer want to feel like my only relaxing way or my only escape way
Hmm.
is smoking. Like, no, I
Yeah.
no longer want that feeling. So I smoked my last bit that I had yesterday. Now I have just like gummies and random shit. So I'm like, once I'm done with my gummies and random shit here, I'm done. I'm no longer participating. I
Period.
was like, I just want to see this like little cleanse. Like I've done it before, but it's been so long that I'm just like now at this point, I'm like, fuck this shit. Like I don't want this. I need a break. I need a break.
Yeah. That's fair. Also, like I think people forget too, like ancient herbalists always said that you needed a break from all the herbs, not just weed, but like if the teas that you're drinking or the tinctures that you're using, typically you use the herbs the same way that cycles happen in nature. Nature has its cycles. How long are each cycles? Typically around 3 months. So you're
Mm,
typically not really supposed to use a herb longer than 3 months consistently if you're doing it consistently. So like we're meant to take breaks from things. It's like everything. Everything has a life death life cycle. You're supposed to there's an ebb and flow in literally everything. So I think, what we consume is the same. So I love that. And kudos to you.
I like that.
You
I
know what I
like
mean?
that. I know.
I will give a little bit of an insight in my week, so you're not the only one sharing your week. But I will caveat obviously it's not it's not it feels weird to say it because of how we entered this, but I hope that it brings to you like a little bit of silliness too, like just to
Okay.
remember how stupid life can be sometimes. But I was in my luteal phase this week, so your girl was just she was just mad. I was just mad at everything. I woke up mad. I was angry. I was like big grumpy pants for most of the time, and then I'll get good, and then something small and stupid would happen. I'll be like, just like fucking rage out for nothing, for absolutely nothing. And that's how I know I'm in my luteal phase because like I don't really access my anger a lot. Like I'll access crying a lot and being sad and like having a heavy heart. That's like my default emotion, to be honest. If I'm not joyous, I'm like I'm brooding and I'm contemplative and I'm heavy and I'm anger is not something that I touch a lot. But when in my luteal phase, that bitch is there constantly. And it's like, you know how they say life begets more life? I think anything begets more of that same thing. So like they'll say like if you want more
Mm.
love in your life, give more love because the love begets more love. So
Mm-hmm.
anger begets more anger. So I'm pissed and the universe is just like, we can give you more of that. Like, no,
Oh,
girl, I'm about to fucking lose it. I'm about to fucking lose it. So I don't know. Okay. I'll start with a small trivial thing. We tried this place called Wings and Co. 2 times now. I see black people go in and out of this bitch, so I know it has something good on that fucking menu. I just
yeah.
haven't found it yet. I have not found it. Bro, the first time we try it, we try the lemon pepper rub. I love lemon pepper chicken. I think it's so
Right.
delicious. Why the fuck am I eating that bitch and my taste buds are burning off? Like they put the thickest coat of lemon pepper rub on this bitch. It hurt to eat. Like our mouth was all it was
N-
getting dry and like painful, crackly and
no
everything.
way.
Yo, way. And then the French fries are salty and soggy. I tried truffle fries from them. I love me some truffle fries. They failed miserably. They failed miserably. It was so bad. Mind you, I get into the fucking wing, the lemon pepper wing, and inside the chicken's flavorless. How is the actual meat flavorless and the outside is overly powering in flavor? It was terrible. So I give it another chance. I was like, all right, let's try your plain wings this time and your plain fries. You can't fuck it up. Mind you, I'm already mad at everything. And I'm hungry this day. We came back from the beach. Yes, we can still go to the beach here. We came back from the beach. I opened up my fucking plate and I was like, what is this? I don't know if you ever tried, I don't know if you ever tried to fry wings in an air fryer, but that's what the fuck it
Yeah.
looked like they did to these wings.
Okay, I mean, it's not that those be bad. It's just that's healthy. And like I can do that at my house. And
Exactly, and not even that, but like they just look dry. And so these wings were like skinless wings. So they didn't have breading on it and they didn't have a crust skin. They just looked
oh
dry.
no.
And I was like,
No.
bro, I was looking at the wings like, please. They were fucking tasteless. They didn't have not one lick of season. Them chickens ain't never seen seasoning in their life. I promise you that they never
Oh
touched
my
seasoning
ever
ever, ever in their life.
this
And then
is
mind you,
near
the French
close to the
fries,
south. Like what is going on?
no. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I was like, okay. So, and then the French fries look like good fries. Like it looks like you go to a hood pizza shop and they got them
Yeah.
good fries, them crisp. You know what I mean? They look like those, and I'm excited, bro. I'm like, please let this be the one thing that's good. And I eat it. Why is it salty as fuck?
I
Why?
uh,
Like, how do you fuck up? How do you do this? And I'm looking. We're sitting outside of the place, we're in the parking lot. I'm watching the door because I'm just tight. I'm watching the door this entire time. People coming in and out, and they're POC, bro. And I'm like, I don't know the order. I got to figure out the order. I was 2 seconds away from pulling up on a shorty who just entered her car and be like, "What do you order? What do you order?" Because there's no fucking way. There's no
nah,
way.
at this point I'm convinced people just like over seasoned ass food and that's gonna give you the it's so good, like it's so good. No.
I don't know. I was telling Nana too, and she was like, they probably get the tenders. I was like, all right, bet. I'm gonna try the tenders next. I will give them one more chance. I swear to God, if they fuck some tenders up, I'm gonna be so mad, bro. I'm gonna write a letter.
I
I'm gonna write a
I
letter.
mean listen, you already got the regular wings and French fries. At this point, if you don't fuck up that, I'm third strike, I guess I'm gonna try your tenders because if you go wrong with tenders, that's it, you're done. That's three strikes, you're out. I really
Fact, fact. But I mean, I shouldn't have been that surprised because every place that we've tried out, like we've tried Zaxby's, which is supposed to be like the southern version of Cane's Chicken. We've tried Bojangles, which is another chicken joint. I'm not impressed. All the places I've tried,
really.
it's not good. It's not good. No.
Well, so
Everything that I've
we're
had,
doing something right. We're doing something right then.
yes, we are. And that's another thing. Hold on. That's another thing. And this is not to say anything bad about people with big backs. I love big back people. Okay, I'm a big back in my heart. Okay, the only reason I'm not physically big back is because I work out a lot. But in my heart, I am. But the amount of big back people there are down here is more than the north. Like there's more big back people
Whoa.
here. So no, but you would think they would have good food then. What are we eating so much of if it's not good? I don't. I'm upset, girl. You okay?
So, something fell. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I just thought I was about to get knocked out. I was like, ah.
Oh, girl, girl, please. Oh my God. Yeah, but yeah, we are doing something right up north. We definitely are. But we did try to give them their flowers. We did try Longhorn Steakhouse yesterday, which is a place I'm pretty sure we have up north too, and that was good. That was really good. I had a great burger from there. Taylor had some great shrimp and steak. The fries were good. A little too salty for my liking, but still good. It was good.
Well,
Other
that's a
than that,
steakhouse. I would sure hope that they would be fucking good. Cause like,
you know what I mean?
please, I'm paying big bucks for that meal. So that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Also, we did start. I talked Taylor into starting Vampire Diaries with me. Over, I've watched it before. I've watched it, I think, 2 or 3 times now, but I got them to watch it for their first time. I recommend. If you have not seen Vampire Diaries, go watch it. If you have seen it, watch it
Yeah,
again. Do
I
it.
can testify to that. Michaela made me watch it down in Colorado, and I actually got hooked. I think
Yes,
I made it to like season 2 or 3, and I was like, that's something I can actually start over again and watch myself. Cause I was like, this is really good. So yeah.
yes, girl. And I will say also for anyone watching it for the first time, the first like 2 to 5 episodes is a
Yeah.
little slow. It's hard to get in. It's hard to get in, and it's like corny. It's it's but it's meant to be corny. And but if you make it to season 2 to 5 are the best seasons of the entire series.
Hell yeah.
I'll tell you that. Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think that's where I made it. I
Yeah.
made it up to 5. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of what my week looked like. I also was tight with Scentbird, which is a like perfume subscription. They send you a sample of a high end perfume every month, a new perfume. For whatever reason, they couldn't get me this month's perfume 2 times. It said it was delivered successfully by DHL. Both of those times, it's not in there. At this point, I'm upset. I'm gonna tell them just cancel my service or my
I mean, yeah.
subscription because of you guys. You know what I mean? Like, and my thing is like, why would you send it through the same delivery service if they didn't do it right the first time? What's going on? What's going on? So that pissed me off. But other than that, that was my week this week.
I mean, your week don't sound too crazy. I'm well versed with anger. Yours sounded like the not too bad, not too bad. You at least didn't, knock somebody out, push somebody out the way, do something crazy. I don't know. I feel like when I think of that, I'd be thinking on 10. That happened to me earlier this week too, because it was like, man, you see me getting off, and you see these doors about to close on me. They close on a man with a carriage. They're not closing on me. You better get out of my way. So I had to push her out the way. But yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like.
No, I think I think in that way Taylor had a little bit more anger than me because one of the nicest man was we were at Target. We went to Target late at night thinking it would be nice and empty. Was not. So this man in a big ass pickup truck is like backing up into his spot and he's not really paying attention or something, but he gets mad close to Taylor. Taylor puts down their window and starts cussing him out. And I said, "Let's go, let's go," because this man is in a pickup truck. They always look big and white and brawly, and I just don't want
Hmm.
to have to fight any big ass man at my 5'2" stature. God damn it! Let's stop. Let's go. These motherfuckers, and
Hmm.
then Matt, we're in the South. Like they're bigoted. They're gonna be even more mad because they're gonna see that we're a lesbian couple. I don't want them years of pent up racism, homophobia coming out at me. Let's go. What is
Yeah,
going on?
that's all valid. That is all so valid because I'm like, that's the one fight that I will not pick. I see the car, I
You
see where we're
know?
at. I'm looking the other way. No, no.
Like, no, let this pick your battles wisely. This is not
Mm.
the one. This is not the one. And they hit women down here. Please, let's go. Anyways, yeah, that was my week. Yeah, my anger wasn't like crazy explosive. It was more so like I was getting angry at a lot of dumb shit. I was angry because they were dumb shit. Like they were small little. I was like, please, like, I just want the peace.
Please.
My God. But yo, I wanted to, I wanted to talk about Chat GPT. First off, what are your thoughts on Chat GPT and AI as a whole?
Okay, okay. Well, I love
Yes.
it. One, because I love it
Okay.
for the ways I use it. Like, if I need a little
Yeah.
caption, like, give me a little caption.
Uh-huh.
Or can you type up a cover letter for me? Great. Like, I'm
Mhm.
very mindful how I consume it and use
Yeah.
it. The shit that I've seen that it's capable of doing scares me.
Yes.
And the way it really be articulating and messing with certain platforms like artists and other people in certain ages like that, it needs some rules and some boundaries. But I like it for my personal
Mhm.
use. And
Mhm.
I think we need it.
Facts. Facts, facts. I was saying the same thing to Taylor this morning. I like it a lot. Actually, I love it. I'm afraid of it though, and I'm afraid of AI. Like terrified the shit that they could do. Cause like you, I've seen the shit that they could do. Like there are people that'll go on it and be like, talk to me in AAVE, or talk to me in this specific dialect, or like they'll create relationships with fucking Chat GPT. There was one woman who I guess fell in love with Chat GPT and left her husband, and I was like, okay. So, and mind you, I go to look up the story to see if I can find out more information. Bro, when I tell you there are so many other stories like this. So I agree. Like, I think they need policies around it. I think they need better protection. I think there needs to be some rules, some boundaries. But it's great. Chat GPT works the way that we were trying to make Google work. So I don't know if you know, when you're searching in Google, you're supposed to use like keywords to search. You're never supposed to type in a full question. But everyone types in a full question because who's really no, everyone types in a full
Yeah,
question. But we weren't using Google the way we were supposed to. So the way Chat GPT works is the way we were trying to use Google. Chat GPT, you type in a question, it got the answer. And you don't gotta sift through a whole bunch of fucking fake scans and shit just to find
exactly.
your answer. They just give it to you. And it's great. And it's great. I love ChatGPT. Mind you, I'll go in, this is how I use it. I'll send in my chart and be like, tell me about my Saturn return using Hellenistic astrology. Or I'll be like, tell me this recipe. Or what else would I be using it for? I'll be like, read this person's chart, tell me all the aspects. Shit like that. Like that's how I use Chat GBT. GBT?
Mm-hmm.
CBT.
GPT.
CB.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's how I use that fucking bot. But I wanted to try an experiment if you're up for it. I
Hmm.
wanted to see how far would allow us to go. So I was thinking, what if for this week we try to build a friendship with Chat GPT and we try to make it curate to us and know us and see, like, is it really possible to like build an emotional bond with AI? Like, can you really do that?
I'm so fucking down for this experiment. Okay.
Okay,
Let's
bet, bet,
do
bet,
this.
bet, bet, bet. We're gonna do it, and then we'll tell y'all next week how it is and what we think about it.
Oh my God, I'm so intrigued. Do I get to name it? I don't want it to be AI or ChatGPT. I'm about to ask, do you have a name? That's gonna be my
Oh
first question.
yeah, you could probably program a name. Yeah, that's crazy.
We're about to have fun.
I like it. I'm excited for it. But also, we put up a weekly poll. Like I said last time, we're gonna do weekly polls every week. Obviously, I'm gonna try to do them on Wednesdays. But basically, we're just asking if you have questions for us, topics you want us to talk about, comments, concerns, etc. And in our last poll, we got a question from Ty Pookie Bear, and he was asking. It's a multi. So first is y'all current passions and interests, and then also how spirituality plays a role in your lives today. But we could start with passions and interests.
Passion and interest.
What are your
Okay.
current passion and interests?
My current passions, I think I've been super, super passionate about like my health and my overall well-being. I think I've been really
Mm-hmm.
going to the gym, hard
Mm-hmm.
not, sticking to my routine, and really eating in a way that surprises me 9 times out of 10. Because I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Something of interest right now. I was listening to a podcast. Let me see if I have it near me. And one of the people on the podcast had mentioned, what's his name? Rudolf Steiner. And I guess Rudolf
Mm-hmm.
Steiner is like this philosopher. And he is a philosopher that I guess was going against a lot of things during his time. So the one book I'm reading
Mm-hmm.
right now is like, I guess how to like uplift your thoughts or really notice your thoughts and really getting
Mm-hmm.
curious about like where your thoughts come from and how they originate, but how that correlates with like the sense of I within us. So that right now has
Mm-hmm.
been my interest in really trying to like dissect that and understand what the fuck that means to me and like
Yeah.
conceptualize it. Because I don't think I explained it well. But that's kind of where I'm at least with the book. So that's been an interest of mine right now. That's kind of where I'm at.
I do feel like you explained that well. So basically, you're trying to get a better grasp of like your parts, like your inner parts.
For the most part, but more so, I guess, like the thinking mind and understanding like that specific part. And like, yes, we have thoughts throughout the day. How often are we
Yeah.
as a collective so aware of our thoughts? But like understanding
Mm,
like, yes, these thoughts just generate or like they just come about, but they're triggered from so many aspects. And when you
mm,
understand what is triggering these thoughts or what parts of your brain is making these thoughts and where they're coming from, it's like, I don't know, you have to take a step back in a way. So that's kind of like how I'm understanding it so far. So I don't know,
yeah.
I don't know if that confused
I
it
like
more.
it. No, that's good. I
Yeah.
like it. I like it. All right. My current passions and interests. Let's think. I've really been into. Actually, I'll show you. I've really been into playing around with art in like different mediums and stuff like that. I'll show you what I mean. So, funny enough, I would never have called myself an artist growing up, no matter how many compliments I got on anything or what have you. It wasn't until meeting probably one of the most influential relationships I've had in my life so far, i.e., Niles, that I started to really dabble in art and get comfortable with seeing myself as an artist. And then after that relationship, or maybe during, I was listening to a book, an audiobook called Artist's Way. I think her name, the artist was
I just bought that
Julia.
book this week.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, Julia Cameron or something like that.
Yep. Second day doing the
Yeah,
morning
so
journals. Second day doing the morning pages. Yep.
so good. Like, do not quit. That book is so fucking good. Everyone needs to get that book. But essentially, she talks about how we're all artists and how a lot of people are estranged from their artists, or some another subgroup of people will think that they need to do something in order to be tapped into that artistry. I.e., think of poets who need a drink, or think of people who are addicted to the pain in their life because they think that's the only way that art can come out of it. Something like that.
Mm,
And so essentially, the whole book is to connect you with your artist in a way that's almost like natural and kind of like a little, it's like easier. Like it makes you
mm,
in tune with your artistry and your inner artist in an easier way, allowing it to just flow through you by connecting you to your inner child. So for a long time, I did art through my inner child and with working with my inner child. Then recently, I came into contact with a TikToker whose name I cannot remember, but she talks about being in relationship with your artist as an adult. And I don't hear enough of that. And so she had this challenge of doing connecting with like your inner villain. And she talks about your adult artist as an inner villain in the sense that it's a little bit selfish about its art. It's a little bit selfish about that creative energy. It's a little bit selfish about taking that time. And very much like about that shit. It doesn't play small. It's not meek. It's not, you know, it's very like this is my stuff. This is how like think about the princess villains and how they are about
yeah.
everything. They're very sure of themselves. Nothing gets in their way. There is no distraction. They're on that shit. So she kind of did a challenge around that, and I feel like I've been connecting with my art in a new way, and it's making me create art that I really fuck with. I'll show you some of them. I made this. This is my first attempt at like doing art that felt very adult. And then I went back a little bit and played with some funner art and did some like, you know, back to my inner child, finding a place where they can come together, my adult self and my inner child self. And then probably like my favorite one right now is my little alien guy.
Yes,
I love my little
that is so
alien guy. Thank
dope,
you.
love.
Thank you. And of course, I'll still make space for like stupid art, like art where I'm just like I'm dabbling. Like just connecting to that energy as much as I can every single day. But I think part of playing with art as your adult self means not being afraid to take a risk and meaning like not being afraid to play with new mediums. So I have been playing with new mediums. I made this from clay all by myself. It's an incense holder. So the mouth it is like dug in so you can put an incense in it, but it looks like a little alien guy.
That is so nice.
And thank you. And so I've been playing with art and trying to connect that to my adult self and also trying to make art or rather trying to find my style in art, trying to make art like fit me, who I actually am as
Hmm.
an adult. And I'm finding that I'm gravitating towards very serious art or art that has something to say, or the opposite of that, art that's trippy. It makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable looking at it. Like I fuck with
Yeah.
that. Like I think the point of art is to make you feel something. I think the point of art is to like you're supposed to interact with it. You're supposed to some type of life needs to be moving when you see art, and that life is your feelings, is your emotions. How are you
Mm.
feeling about it? So that's kind of been my passions right now. And then I have all the same passions that I used to have. So yoga, writing. I'm working on my second poetry book. I'm editing it, and I'm gonna publish it, another self-published book. So like all the shit that I was doing before, I still have. I'm just learning how to connect with those things from like a healed point of view and from like a adult point of view, because I feel like for so long I spent my time running away from my adult self. I'm very
Mm.
afraid of it, and I feel like I'm coming to a point where I want to own it so that it doesn't feel like it has power over me. Like whether I like it or not, I am an adult. Whether I like it or not, I have adult ass responsibilities. Whether I like it or not, people view me as an adult. So I want to step into it. And I can't
Mm.
pick and choose when the fuck I want to be an adult. Like when I'm talking to my sister and my cousin and when I'm an aunt, I'm very adult. I got all the adult things to say. I can't help it sometimes. I'm so fucking adult. But then other moments, what? I decide I don't want to be. No, like I need to be able to integrate all of those parts of myself and become a whole part so there's not so much
Mm.
duality all the time. So that means, being okay with what reality is in this moment, which is the fact that whether I like it or not, I'm an adult. So
Yeah.
approaching things from that, I don't know, from that identity, from that perspective.
That I felt because when I tell you, it's like you're probably feeling it now more so like because your birthday's creeping in. But me thinking about like about to be 27, I'm like, hold
Mm-hmm.
on, I'm a real life adult, and I think been like how you put it, like you want to merge them all together. I think is perfectly what I think I've been struggling with because I'm like, well, I don't look that old, so I get a pass, or like I'm just like, like I'm still trying to soak up the youth and soak up like being young and like tithering between like I am still 20 something, but it's like nah,
Mm-hmm.
girly, you're in the later sides of the 20s. You're about near 30. So it's like we need to really adopt that. But I
Facts.
appreciate the whole art thing because I definitely went to my house sometime, I think like 2 weeks ago, and I picked up the
Yeah.
bins of the art stuff, and they kind of just been like sitting there. And we did like last time me and Johnny hung out, we did kind of like color and everything, but it hasn't been that idea has been popping up here and there of like, oh, you're off today, create something, do something, and I'll look over and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I have so much stuff, and it's like, oh, maybe make this today, and I'm like, okay. Now hearing you say it, I'm like, okay, keep whispering louder. I'm getting yelled at. I'm getting yelled at.
Yeah, yes, I love that. I love that. And my thing is like I think part of becoming an adult is, or at least an integrated adult, is realizing that the youthful energy is important and it's beautiful and you should absolutely hold on to the youthful energy. But it's about being childlike rather than childish. And I think a part of pushing away your adulthood and pushing away the reality as it is now is childish, because it's an inability to accept reality and also an inability to see yourself as a fully powerful person, as a person that can deal with hard things, that can hold all of the truth in this now. And the truth is you can deal with hard things. The truth is you can adult. The truth is you can deal with everything now. So holding on to the youthfulness is important and is beautiful. And I think that's some of where that creative energy comes from. So I'm not opposed to that. But yeah, like we were saying, just like coming at it from a more integrated place, coming at it from a place of acceptance and like just being okay with reality as it is now. And it absolutely has to do with the fact that my birthday is around the corner. Absolutely. I feel that bitch on my back. So you breathing in my ear, girl. Relax, girl. Like, god damn, bro. And then not even just that. My Saturn return is around the corner, babe. Our Saturn return is around the motherfucking corner, babe. And I don't know if you know, but our Saturn return is in Aries, which the Aries in Saturn is in its detriment. That Aries does not like to be in Saturn. Saturn does not like Aries there. So I would actually start looking into that now if you haven't already. What
I have
house is
not.
your Aries and Saturn placement is? Go ahead and look into that so you can see what you're gonna deal with between the ages of 27 to 30. So
Let me go get myself ready.
yeah, yeah. How spirituality plays a role in your lives today? Would you like to walk us down how spirituality is playing in your life today?
This one has been tricky because I feel like I've lost a sense of my spirituality, but then I've
Mm-hmm.
also been pondering on what spirituality is to me now in this current moment and how that shows up. And I mean that in the sense of like, does it necessarily mean pulling tarot cards every morning? Does it mean like having to sit at my altar? Like, is that what I think of spirituality being?
Mm-hmm.
It's a practice, yes, that's aspects of it, but I think when I used to just think that's all that it meant, being able to give myself 5, 10 minutes to connect with my inner self, it doesn't seem tangible now. It no longer does. So I feel like a parts of me kind of lost what it was for me, and I think now I'm still kind of figuring out spirituality in my life now because I don't think it's been as prevalent. I think what I've been doing that feels, I think, a little sense of like spiritual to myself. I think it's still parts of like studying astrology, connecting with it, and I
Mm-hmm.
think pondering on the themes of the day. That way I kind of
Mm-hmm.
continue to check in with myself. That to me feels more spiritual because I'm connecting back in with myself and reflecting on like today's theme, boundaries. Where are my boundaries showing up? How am I feeling? Am I respecting my boundaries? So it's like always just like a little mindful check-in. And less
Mm-hmm.
of me thinking that I need to set up 20, 30 minutes to set up a whole altar to really ground down, put the like set the whole tone, you know? It's
Mm-hmm.
been more now trying to make it tangible. I don't want to say quick, but intentional so that I can actually check
Right.
in, know what's going on, and be there for myself.
Yeah,
That's kind of where I'm at with spirituality.
that's fair. Can I ask you what could be a difficult question?
Yeah,
With what all happened this past week with Jonathan, did that make you look at your like fragility or your mortality in a way? Did it make you like introspect on that aspect of being a human?
I think yes, but in a different way. I think I've shared something with you before you had left, and I think that's kind of like what it's been more focused on. I think is like
Mm-hmm.
noticing things that I did say, or like that idea of like, wishing death upon somebody or someone being completely gone, and then having what
Yeah,
felt like a glimpse of that actually potentially happening, or still things happening, and then being grateful that someone is still here. I think it's been
yeah.
moments like that, but also more noticing guilt and shame and having to really
Mm-hmm.
get familiar with that and less I think about fragility and like life itself, I think
Mm-hmm.
maybe it has put me to be grateful for the people I have in my life and me and myself, but I think it's been more, I think, internal introspecting on shame and guilt for things I've said and like, not being able to forgive myself around the things I've said and that whole compass of like it itself. Yeah.
Okay. So like it wasn't introspective in the sense that you had to look at your like humanness. It was more so introspective that you had to look at kind of how shame and guilt plays in your life, plays a role in your life currently.
It plays a role in my life, yes, but more so I think catered to like this one situation or this one current like moment situation that's happening and still is unfolding,
Yeah.
but around death and particularly in like someone or wishing like where someone being here, but in a sense, could
Hmm.
have been gone in any moment and can be.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like that was a spiritual experience, like having to have that introspection?
Maybe. I think so. I think it does because I think seeing someone going through what feels like their journey to a new beginning is interesting, but I think also having to see that on my end, seeing what this has done for me, I think,
Mm.
or how it's feeling for me, I think is more like I think a chance to remind myself to slow down and come back in because that's what this week has allowed me to. I'm super busy, but it's more just like
Hmm.
just reflecting, I think, on life itself as a whole and like slowing down and being, I think, more intentional. Like a lot of things that I was doing, I think, more heavily a year and a half ago or 2 years ago are slowly starting to like recircle back in interesting ways that it's
Mm.
just like, okay, am I being called to kind of like go back to kind of where I was in a point or continue studying what I was doing or continuing to be intentional and in tuned back in? Or is it more like,
Mm.
yeah, like, girl, you can't keep living how you're living now type of vibe?
Mm. Mm. That does sound like a spiritual experience. Just like the whole introspective piece, like the fact that it's asking you to look at so many different things, not just relating you to, but also yourself. I feel like that's yeah, that's that's a lot. Um, uh, Spirituality in my life, I feel like hasn't changed a whole bunch. If anything, maybe it's more integrated now. Maybe it's a lot more like seamless. Like I don't feel like I have to think about it so much. Like it feels like
Mm,
it's just a part of who I am now. So I'm still a very woo woo person. I still got all the things. I still do all the things. Um, but now it doesn't feel like it's like it doesn't feel like it's like a BuzzFeed thing. Like it doesn't feel like it's just like, oh, I do this and that. Now it's just like, yeah, if you saw me in my day to day, you like, oh, this bitch is she's giving witch. But like it's not something that I feel the need to like broadcast the way I did before. Like it feels a lot more integrated. It feels a lot more real. It feels like a lot more like who I actually am now versus who I wanted to be. Now it feels more
mm,
integrated. And also I think that just comes with realizing that like, and this might be a little bit of a rebuttal to what you're saying. I don't think you could be without it. Like, I don't think there's any version of us that aren't spiritual. I genuinely, deeply, wholeheartedly believe that we are spiritual beings just having a human experience. And I think that's for our spiritual advancement. So I think just coming to terms with that, like, where could you go? Where could I go? There's no running away from it. It's always there. Whether it's things like this that make you reflect on yourself, or whether it's things like being angry and realizing when I'm angry, I get more anger. So what happens if I do this? Like all of it just feels like a moment to reflect. All of it feels like a moment to introspect. All of it feels like a moment to grow. Like even when you're off the path or like far from it, I think that's an illusion, and I think realizing that illusion is also a spiritual journey, because I feel like
mm,
if love and life force is woven through everything, and I identify love and life force to be God or higher power, what have you, then that means God, higher power, what have you, is woven through everything. And if I believe that I'm one with that force, then I am also woven through everything. That includes spirituality. I am spirituality. Spirituality is me. So like I don't feel like there's ever a moment where you're without it. And I think to think that you are is part of the illusion, and that is so deeply spiritual in such a beautiful way. And it definitely is another way to see like how integrated you are with the thing. So I think yeah, my spirituality plays a role in my life today in the sense that it's everything. Everything is spirituality. When I'm painting, it's spirituality. When I'm walking, it's spirituality. When I'm making love, it's spirituality. When I'm talking, it's spirituality. When I'm sitting, it's spirituality. When I'm pissed off, when I'm sad, when I feel lonely and depressed, it's spirituality. Everything feels like it. And then there'll be that layer of like humanness too, because that also I think is part of it. So yeah, I think it's a lot more integrated than what it used to be. I'm definitely still a witchy ass bitch. I'm definitely still a woo woo ass bitch. I'm definitely still a what does that mean though? Have you looked into the meaning? Like I'm that girl. I'm so sorry. I will always be that girl. So, which is nice though, because I feel like in our culture, people are kind of stepping away from spirituality or going back to religion or what have you. Like I feel like our culture is shifting because it's not a BuzzFeed word anymore. It's not as easy
mm-hmm.
to make a quick buck on it anymore, which I think is important because for one, everything goes in cycles, so that's important. But also, it's important so people can kind of like finally not have to sift through the noise anymore, and people can connect to a version of spirituality that feels more true, that feels more real, that feels more integrated. But yeah, that's kind of my where I'm at with that.
That sounds like I dream. Because what you described, I think, is like,
Ah, what do you mean
yes.
reconnecting?
Ah! I see a black little, oh, there it goes. Is it gone? No, but I was just saying that what you shared, I think, is really nice. And I think it speaks to at least parts of me where I'm
It's
like,
kind of doing it again. It's kind of good.
we're leaving it. We're leaving it there then. We're leaving it there. There we go. I said we're leaving it there. That's the universe
Yeah.
saying, you know what? You just let that be. No need for feedback or anything. Just let that be.
Okay. Okay. Bet. All right, guys. Just because I'm starting to get a little scared of the technology wanting to shut down on us, this is your loving reminder to keep a lookout for the socials, for sneak peeks and teasers always, for throwbacks, for visuals, and for questions so we can include you guys in future conversations, questions, comments, concerns. Again, thank you for bearing with us while we figure out the technology piece. Thank you for tuning in to the last episode. I would like to know how you guys really are with like the loneliness epidemic and with how real life can get in the blink of an eye. I would really genuinely like to know how you guys are. So please comment below. Let us know how you guys are. Let us know how you really are so we can interact with you, so we can give you some love, so we can give you some sense of community also. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, send us to someone that you know would enjoy us. And yeah, anything you want to add?
No, you said all the good stuff. So I look forward to it, sending some internet hugs, some creating some community over the internet. So we are here and hope to
Yes.
connect.
Yeah.
Bye.